Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Call Halayim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that grew well. Peace, blessing, and salutation to the occupant that are pushing his word throughout the four corners of the earth in all truth and sincerity. Lord willing, this reaches the ears of the hopeful elect. All right, your brother Kazak coming at you once again with another quick hit lesson. Lord willing, is edifying. All right, so through the power and spirit of Yahweh Shem Shah, I was watching this movie last night. Now it's an older movie. It's 4 years old. Came out in 2018. But obviously, the longer you're in this truth, man, you start to see things a little bit more clearly. You know, I mean, granted, it was just 4 years ago when this movie first aired, but you know, the more precepts you learn, the more you being built up in the spirit. You notice, you see things that you would have never seen before. All right, you know, all things, you know, everything is spiritual, man. You know, everything that we see, everything that we encounter, this is all a spiritual warfare that we're facing. Okay, but here you have this movie, and Esau likes to put a lot of his you know, he takes all the credit. However, none of the credit is due to him. You know, all this is done by the Heavenly Father, and ultimately is all done for the elect's sake. You know, but here you have this movie. We have you know, Sandra Bullock, and she's you know, with these kids, as you see in the picture here. But you know what? I'm gonna read the synopsis real quick. You know, a quick little brief little plot of the movie, and just want to, you know, talk on it a little bit. All right, it says, when a mysterious force decimates the population, only one thing is certain: if you see it, you die. The survivors must now avoid coming face to face with an entity that takes the form of their worst fears. Searching for hope and a new beginning, a woman and her child embark on a dangerous journey through the woods and down a river to find the one place that they may offer sanctuary. To make it, they have to cover their eyes from the evil that chases them and complete the trip blindfolded. All right, so you know, everything, whenever you watch a movie, you have to take it with a grain of salt. You know, especially when it comes to, you know, a movie that has a villain, okay, or a movie that you know, hey, there's a good guy, you know, in the story, or there's a evil entity. You know, you watch it, but you got to take it with a grain of salt. You know, you have to discern and use your spiritual eyes when watching these movies, because, you know, a lot of the times, you know, your mind wants to go for the so-called good guys, but when you actually digest it, you know, and take what the message is being put out, you look at it different. You watch it through a different lens, through the spiritual lens. All right. So here in the movie, you know, it was pretty much just chaotic. You know, people just, you know, running themselves off the track. You know, crashing. You know, killing themselves. Whatever. Okay. Now, throughout the movie, you know, it's like a group of people. They bound together, and they you know, trying to stay alive. You know, pretty much. Now, when they're out there, you know, they have to keep their eyes closed or be blindfolded so that they can't see, right? And what they're trying to avoid seeing is what appears to be something. You know, they don't show it. However, throughout the movie, it appears to be as if it's like, you know, the wind. You know, now the people who have seen it, you know, they're trying to get the people who are keeping their eyes closed and blinded or blindfolded to open their eyes and to look. Okay, and as I was watching it, I was like, man, you know, that kind of sounds like the the duties of a prophet, you know, so to speak, you know. And because here you have the world, you know, and you have the servants, you know, the prophets in the middle of the Lord of Yahweh Shai, you know, pretty much trying to, open the eyes, you know, of, of the people. Granted, this is not, not everybody is gonna get it. Not everybody is gonna see it, right? And we know that, all right? And it's because they're not chosen. They haven't been chosen or called to receive this truth. So I want to start off with the book of Matthew, 13th chapter, the 10th verse. And it reads, "And the disciples came and said unto him, Why speakest thou unto them into parables? And he answered and said unto them, Because it is given to you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given." Right? So for the ones who have the eye salve to see, it's for us to, to have the understanding, the proper knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of these scriptures. All right. Now, in this movie, you have some people who have opened their eyes and who have seen, and they're trying to get other people to see it. But the people who they get, they open the eyes of someone else, right? What do? They try to kill themselves. They try to off themselves. All right, because it's too much for them, and it was very spiritual, the movie. If you ever get a chance, go back and watch it again. But they ended up killing themselves. Why? Because when it comes to this truth, it's too much. It could be too much for your so-called average person, and the reason being is because it wasn't given to them. It wasn't given to them from the foundation of the earth. Okay. Now you have this, they're out, wandering, trying to flee from this truth, right? Blindfolded. Okay. They're out there blindfolded. They're running away, trying to survive, and there's this, what appears to be like this wind, that's following them. Okay. And there's no escaping it. They were in this whole little situation for, I want to say, anywhere from like about 5 years or so. All right. Because those little kids, came in the world as, babies. They were pregnant, two of the characters were pregnant. They ended up giving birth to these kids, and the kids grew up to be about 5 years old. So they've been doing this for a while, avoiding this wind. Right. And that brought me to Ezekiel, Salakia. Where it says, "Prophesy unto the wind." I want to say he's Ezekiel. Okay, Khan. Ezekiel 37, and it says, verse 7, 37 and 7. "So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to his bone. And when I beheld, lo, the sinews and the flesh came upon them, and the skin covered them above. There was no breath in them." Right, so they were out there wanderously, aimlessly, dead people, essentially. Why? Because let me get the book of Proverbs real quick before I finish that off. Proverbs 21 and 16. "The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead." And were they not wandering throughout the movie, running away from this wind, and through the spirit, I believe it to be this truth, wandering out of the way of understanding, remaining in the congregation of the dead. Right? Going back to Ezekiel 37, jumping down to verse 8 again, it says, "And behold, lo, the sinews and the flesh came upon them, and the skin covered them above, for there was no breath in them. Then he said unto me, Prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, Thus saith Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived and stood upon their feet, an exceeding great army. Right? So those who, when in the movie you see when they, get to a point where, it's unbearable, where they can't take it anymore, and they, you know, or even if it's just on accident, they open their eyes and they finally see. They finally see this, so-called creature. When reality is they was really seeing the truth, right? And any normal person, okay, hey, this is grievous, man. The having this truth, not it's like, I don't mean like it's grievous to not having this truth, but what I'm saying is when having this knowledge, it's grievous. Let me just get it. Let me not quote it because I'm kind of butchering it. Let me get Ecclesiastes 1:19. It says 18. Let me start at verse 17. I'm sorry, verse 16. Ecclesiastes 1:16. I commune with my own heart, saying, Lo, I am come to great estate, and have gotten more wisdom than all they that may have been before me in Jerusalem. Yea, my heart had great experience of wisdom and knowledge, and I gave my heart, or your mind, your la'ab, your heart means la'ab, which is your mind, and I gave my heart to know wisdom and to know madness and folly, and I perceived that this also is vexation of spirit. For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. Right? So, in the movie, when they opened their eyes and they saw, this, and I'm putting it in terms of the word and this truth, it's like they open their eyes and they finally see, but their spirits couldn't take it anymore. So what they did was they offed themselves. Most, whether it be walking into a ball of fire, shooting themselves, slicing their own throat, gouging their eyes out, whatever, committing suicide. It's just, it was too much. But you got to be strong in spirit, okay? You got to be strong in spirit when you come into this truth, all right? So like I thought I had some, but yeah. So hey, just a quick little lesson, and I'm sure brothers can go more in depth with this this topic or this movie, but I really wanted to, the spirit was heavy on me to go ahead and talk about this because as I'm watching, I'm like, damn, this movie is spiritual, man. This is like, it's heavy, and the spirit led me to go into this lesson. So once again, I encourage you to watch it again. Hey, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give our honor, praise, and infinite glory to our power, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. And with that, I want to say Shalom.